It landed me in the ER for 9 hours, which costed $26,000. And I was on the hook for all of it.
Our healthcare system is broken. It's designed to be confusing, expensive, and to profit from your pain. But what happens when one man's personal nightmare becomes his mission? This is Travis Bockenstedt, a farm boy from a town of 900 people who's now taking on a multi-trillion-dollar industry.
If you were to go get your oil change and put that on your car insurance, your oil change would go from $75 to $1,000. For primary care, insurance is not the right mechanism, because if we accepted insurance, 40% of our revenue would go to billing you. Just insane.
Angered by that one bill, he and 4 others built a new model from the ground up. No insurance, no government programs, just a simple subscription to give people the one thing they'd been denied: actual healthcare.
But when they were in the market, they made us better because we wanted to compete with them so hard that forced us to be a better business. And I see that through South Denver and Colorado Springs, that we all...
All right, folks, so we want to take a quick minute to introduce our diamond sponsor, Chris Seegers with Exceptional Business Advisors. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your business, sir?
Man, a question that we love to ask our potential clients is, do you know what your business is worth? And if you sold your business today, would it fulfill your personal and financial goals? If you're a successful business owner, but you don't know when or how to sell your business, and if you've ever wondered what each additional day in your business is actually costing you, we'd love to chat. If you're ready to spend more time with your family, your friends, or traveling, come sit down with our team, because when you work with exceptional business advisors, we'll help you build a blueprint to sell your business successfully and help you create, capture, and achieve your dream life. Don't wait for the right time. The time's now. Go ahead and scan the QR code or book a discovery appointment at excoadvisors.com.
Now let's get back to the show. Welcome back to the COS Business Podcast, the #1 podcast in Colorado Springs.
Today's episode is brought to you by Savion HQ. So it's savionhq.com to learn more about who they are and what they do. They're just a brand new sponsor. They're great. Formerly known as HR Branches, by the way. So
That is right, yeah.
I mean, you can kind of understand what they do from there. But yeah, we're excited to have them on. They're coming on next month. So yeah, we're pumped about it.
All right, and speaking of amazing sponsors, today we have an amazing guest. We have Travis Bockenstedt.
You got it.
And he is with Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care. I've been saying that for years now. So I love it, man. Like, you've been so supportive with everything we've done, and like it really, we have people stick around like you have. It allows us to have some stability in this show, and it like truly means a lot. And like the things that you're doing in this community, not just this podcast, multiple things everywhere. Like you can't go anywhere without seeing Pinnacle Advanced if you're actually doing things in the community.
You got it.
But yeah, man, it's great to have you back. It's been long overdue. So how's everything been, man?
It's going great. And as we talked about prior to the show starting here, that I think it's important to have you guys in the media space. And thank you so much for lifting up entrepreneurs and businesses in our community, because they're important stories to tell. But I've been doing well. I mean, we were just talking, I think it's been about 2 years since I've been with you guys. And it's just been a really awesome ride. Like, this community is really good to people who invest into it. And I feel like you get the rewards of that back if you just give a little bit into the community.
Mm-hmm. Man, well, let's talk numbers, because I think last time you had about 1,000 memberships.
Yeah.
That's what we're thinking last time you were on here. That was about 2 years ago.
Yep.
Talk about the growth of the company in the past 2 years.
Yeah, so we've been growing the company about 80% net growth year over year. So it has been just a crazy ride. And we're now up to 3,500 members. So I always tell people, unfortunately, the healthcare system isn't getting any better. We're trying to make it better. But there's a true need out in the community to try to find affordable healthcare. And we know to have a healthy economy, we need healthy workers and healthy people. So we've got to find a way to solve that. And I think that's just a testament of the need in the community.
Beautiful. I mean, I even joined on board for a little bit the end of last year because I was getting vertigo, and I just texted you saying, Travis, I'm having an issue. Like, I don't have insurance currently. How do I get into the system? And you guys got me in. I mean, you really helped me out. It was like within days. And you're like, I can't make any promises, because it's the end of the year. Everybody's trying to get in. This is what I can do. And I was like, man, you guys literally saved me because I had vertigo and it was like an inner ear issue. And I got into with Dr. Digert, who's like one of your main C-suite people.
Yes, he's a co-owner.
Yeah, he's a co-owner. And I didn't know that at the time, but it was just an incredible experience. The communication was fantastic. I think there was a change in location. So I actually wasn't originally booked with Digert, but they switched it and it was actually worked better for my schedule.
Nice.
And so from top to bottom, it was awesome. It was just such a cool, I've never had a healthcare experience like that ever. And I know it's direct primary care, right? Providers. That's what you guys do specifically, but just wanted to give you some feedback.
Oh, thank
Amazing
you.
experience.
Little testimonial, clip it.
Yeah. Well, and two, this healthcare model was created for doctors, for NPs, for PAs, because if we can give our physicians a great place to thrive and we're not forcing them to see 20 to 30 patients a day and they get to make decisions for their patients, right? That's how it should be done. You create this great environment for them to thrive. And that means we get to provide very great care in return. So direct primary care was established for the physician first and foremost. But then the impact on the patient is huge.
Totally.
I'm going to pause for 1 second. Pretty much perfect.
Oh, yep.
Slightly was bothering me.
You're good. You're all good.
I also wanted to talk about, like you were just mentioning there before, that, they're not seeing 30-something patients a day.
Yeah.
So when I met with Dr. Digert, it was like a 45-minute.
Yeah.
I've never had a 45-minute anything with a doctor ever, as far as time set aside for me to kind of talk through. I had already done some research on the issues. I had a feeling, but he initially diagnosed me there, which was great. And
no waiting room?
I mean, I was thinking I was the only one there at that time, which was great too.
Yeah.
So it was just awesome timing. And then, it was just, again, what a cool experience. I've never experienced something like that. So,
well, imagine how complex the body is. And if you have 7.5 minutes to 15 minutes, that's the average encounter a physician gets with a patient, you can't really do a lot. And who knows, vertigo or your healthcare condition that you present with could be related to other things going on. So having that 45 minutes to an hour to really meet with the patient and determine a treatment plan is key. And it saves money for you as the patient because you're not running around and being referred to 10 different places. And it also saves money downstream for the healthcare system because we're taking care of you and trying to address that situation while you're in office.
Yeah, perfect. Well, for folks who are just seeing you for the first time, which is probably impossible because you're all over, but explain to them Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care, because like your unique model is incredible. And a lot of people haven't probably experienced something like that.
Right. So the unique thing about Pinnacle is that we're a membership-based primary care practice. So I like to tell people, think of us like your YouTube TV subscription, your Netflix, the food box you get delivered. We are part of that subscription economy. So what does that mean? That means we don't participate in insurance. We don't participate in government programs. And some people might be like, you don't take insurance, but actually for primary care, insurance is not the right mechanism to pay for your primary care. I tell people that if you were to go get your oil change and put that on your car insurance, your oil change would go from $75 to $1,000, right? You would never use your car insurance for general maintenance on your car. And the same thing goes for your body, for your general primary care. And so what we've done is we've removed that and we've made it extremely affordable for individuals, small business, and solopreneurs to get affordable healthcare. So that's essentially what we do. And that subscription-based healthcare model gives our members access to 90% of their everyday health and wellness needs. So by providing great primary care, we also prevent our members from using the ER and urgent care unnecessarily.
Yes.
Which a lot of folks in town, they have insurance, but they don't have actual health care. And that's what we do at the end of the day. We believe primary care and family medicine is the foundation of our healthcare system. And if we can rebuild that, we'll be happier and healthier. For those of you who are number crunching nerds out there, what's really unique about our healthcare model is if we accepted insurance, 40% of our revenue would go to billing you. Just insane for most businesses to throw 40% of their revenue out the door just to get paid. So we eliminate that and we're able to convert that into affordable memberships and affordable care.
So that doesn't, like, say, what if someone needed like a surgery? Would that be a different kind of? care, like, or how does that go?
Absolutely. So in the primary care setting, we can't cure your cancer. We can't do surgery on your leg if you go snowboarding. So all of our members have something for major medical protection, but because they have access to such great primary care, they might be able to have a $5,000 deductible because we're giving them cash pay wholesale prices on a bunch of stuff. So
Okay.
they're not paying that inflated cost. But yes, all of our members have something for major medical. One thing new we have done, which is very innovative in the market, is we have just launched our own health plan on top of our practice called the Pinnacle 550 Health Plan. This health plan is designed for larger employers in town with 50 plus employees, but we have essentially created a health plan where they get unlimited access to Pinnacle included in the plan and a zero out-of-pocket health plan. So free cancer, surgeries, all of that, if you choose Pinnacle as your primary care provider. So that's something new in town that we're working with larger employers, is to provide their employees with a zero out-of-pocket healthcare experience.
We're going to take a quick break to thank our sponsors.
HR Branches. Is your back office chaos? Are you buried in HR payroll and financial guesswork?
Your passion shouldn't be a prison. Savion HQ is your fractional back office partner. We merge HR, payroll, accounting, and tax to bring order to the chaos and make your passion profitable again.
Stop the bleed, get your freedom back. Find us at savionhq.com or email at hello@savionhq.com.
Data Hubs is a compliance, intelligence, and orchestration platform that helps organizations meet the requirements of frameworks like ISO 27001, SOC 2, CMMC, HIPAA, GDRP, and more.
Data Hubs gives small and mid-sized businesses a premium compliance experience while cutting down the time, cost, and stress it usually takes to get across the finish line. Learn more at datahubs.com. That's DATAHUBZ.com.
Reveal Med Spa. Look and feel your best at Reveal Med Spas. With personalized plans that deliver real results, radiant skin, restored confidence, and natural rejuvenation.
At Reveal Med Spa, we see you. More than just aesthetic and wellness treatments, we provide a safe, judgment-free space where you feel valued, heard, and supported.
Visit revealmedspas.com.
I think it is literally just that too. We'll just double check.
Book your next session at revealmedspas.com. That's revealmedspas.com.
Fast Signs.
From banners to vehicle wraps, Fast Signs delivers custom visual solutions to help your business stand out. Their team ensures your message is clear, bold, and effective. Get your signage needed handled at fastsigns.com. That's fastsigns.com.
Dream Accounting Solutions. Take the stress out of managing your books with Dream Accounting Solutions. They provide reliable expert accounting services tailored to small businesses. Simplify your finances at dreamaccountingsolutions.com. That's dreamaccountingsolutions.com.
Exponential Impact.
Exponential Impact is driving innovation and entrepreneurial success in Colorado Springs. Supporting startups with mentorship, funding, and community resources, they help businesses grow and thrive. Learn more about their impact at exponentialimpact.com. That's exponentialimpact.com.
And now let's get back to the show.
Where does one start, like when they move into your industry? Like you were from ground zero, starting this whole thing up. How does that work? Like who do you get connected with? I'm assuming there's a network of doctors that you start with, but like talk about the formation of this whole thing, because it can get very confusing for just the normal layman trying to figure that out.
Yeah. So like any entrepreneur, we all have our why. And for those of us who discovered direct primary care, we were jaded by the healthcare system. I owned a production company 7 years ago, and I did what you guys do. And as a young entrepreneur, I wasn't taking care of myself. I paid for 100% of my employees' health insurance, including my own. And the day I needed it, the day I had a massive anxiety attack because I wasn't taking care of myself, like many entrepreneurs do not take care of themselves. But what that did is it landed me in the ER for 9 hours, which costed $26,000, which 7 years ago, there were loopholes in the system and I was on the hook for all of it. And that angered me so much that I was like, there's something wrong here. The insurance company, there's something wrong with them that is causing me to pay more for some reason. So then I just went down a rabbit hole and discovered this movement called direct primary care. And I went in as a patient 7 years ago. And like you, my first visit was an hour long. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is too good to be true. This is an amazing healthcare experience. And I was essentially offered a job in my first visit because we got into my life. And the owner of the company found out that I did marketing and this is my thing and was like, do you want to come work for me? And I'm like, yes, I would love to help change healthcare. So then flash forward a few years, a group of us that worked at our old employer, we left that company at different times. And I found out Dr. Digert and Dr. Lynch were starting their own direct primary care practice. Again, I was employed at another place and they're like, would you come in and have us pitch, kind of rip apart our pitch and give us some feedback. So I did. And Dr. Digert was like, how do you like your new job? And I'm like, I don't like my new job. And he's like, come work for me. And I was like, are you serious? And he's like, yes, let's build this practice from the ground up. So that's what we did. 4 years ago, 5 of us came together. We call ourselves the OG5. And we started Pinnacle with 80 patients and have built it up to 3,500 patients on our own. When I say on our own, it was the Colorado Springs business community, our networking community that helped us build it. But we essentially paved that path. We are now one of the fastest growing direct primary care clinics in the country. And we coach other DPCs across the country so they can get started up. I do every quarter, I coach a boot camp for DPC startup practices around the country. But all of us have found it, even the physicians, our physicians, we call it moral injury. When you have to see 20 to 30 patients a day and you cannot do the right thing for your patient, our primary care physicians are facing extreme burnout. So these physicians, primary care physicians, are either looking to leave primary care altogether and go into a different specialty or leave medicine altogether. So we can actually capture physicians who wanted to leave and keep them into family medicine through this model. So a long answer to your question, but I would say we are all jaded by the system, and somehow we all found the direct primary care movement as that place for us to be. In terms of a blueprint to do what we do, there's not a lot out there, right? It's how have you succeeded in your market? I would say our peers around the country are very curious on how we built our practice in Colorado Springs. And we share with them that it is a long game, that you need to build alliances in your community. You need to network your rear off because nobody knows how to Google our category. Also imagine growing a business where nobody knows how to Google you. Would you electively Google direct primary care?
No, that's what. Yeah,
no,
that's
you're
why
going to
I asked.
Google a doctor who takes my insurance.
Yep.
That's what you're going to do. So not only do we have a category you can't Google, the other thing we have is lenders do not know how to lend to a direct primary care practice. They understand insurance-based practices because an insurance-based practice is going to have months and months of receivables on their AR, right? They are chasing around that insurance money to get paid. So I met with a major health system in the area who has $1.5 billion worth of receivables. So if you're a bank, it's very simple. I'm going to siphon off your receivables if you fail to pay us back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with us, because it's all reoccurring revenue, my receivables are like $1,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So a bank is like, well, we don't quite know how to lend to this type of healthcare practice. So, two things against us in growing a business. Nobody knows how to Google and no one will lend to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. And then, so what was the whole principle of starting in Southern Colorado, Colorado Springs? Talk to us about that, because it could have been any market. It could have been Denver. Why Colorado Springs?
So there's a legacy of direct primary care in our community. And actually, Colorado is around number 2 in the country for concentration of DPC practices. So I would say the other thing, too, is Colorado's a relatively free market, freedom-minded state. I think a lot of it has to do with our Western culture, military, just a bunch of different things that I think make Colorado a bit independent, which means when you do bring a model to market that is free market, that does promote independence, I think people tend to latch on to that. So I think that happened to be part of the magic sauce. The other thing is that Denver is a beast of its own. It's more than just Denver. Like, you could put a bunch of Colorado Springs in the whole greater metro area.
Totally.
Unlike the Springs, we're right up against the mountains. Can't go any more west. You're stuck. and east is just dirt. So it's really easy to own the I-25 corridor here in the Springs. So we made a conscious decision to say, hey, if we want to play with local employers, we really need 2 clinics in town. That's why we put one on the north end at Briargate Medical Center, and then we have our Cheyenne Mountain kind of in the Broadmoor area there. So we were able to bookend the market with 2 clinics and not really get a bunch of pushback from employers. They're like, hey, my team, they're within a 15, 20-minute drive of each of your clinics, are good to go.
Yeah.
So I think it was easier for us to get our hands around it. Plus, I had some experience in the market prior to that. So it was just kind of a natural place to start the company.
With your media company, you had experience, or?
So from the other direct primary care I
Okay.
worked with, my media company experience was all downtown Denver folks.
Okay. Yeah.
So all of that was oil and gas, government. That was a lot of the accounts that we had there.
Those are good accounts for a media company.
They were great accounts to have for a media company, very stressful accounts to have.
for sure.
But I think that if I were a business here in Colorado, starting with a clean slate, and you didn't have necessarily an alliance or a preference over Boulder, Denver, Springs, I would say start in the Springs, hands down. Start your business there, build it, figure it out, refine it. Then once you have the Springs figured out, then go to your next market. To me, a logical move for another business would be to get South Denver, because now you've got Castle Rock and you got Monument. They're finicky people. I love my Monument people, but dare they drive too far into Colorado Springs if they don't want to, right? So in my opinion, gosh, you can kind of get the best of all those little markets along I-25 if you kind of go that way. I know a lot of businesses just like to have Denver on their banner and we're there, but rents are extremely high. Most people are broke in town because they're paying too much in rent, so they don't have a lot of disposable income. And I just don't know if Denver is as business friendly as they should be. When you're forcing restaurants, there's ideas to put a forced 20% tip and all these different things. And it's like, eventually you're just going to price yourself out. And I think that's the situation that Denver's found themselves in, is that they sort of just price themselves out. Where I think in Colorado Springs, we still have a very healthy small business market that is independently owned and a diversity of different businesses across the board. So I think Colorado Springs is a better place to start.
I think if you got something in the middle of Powers, you'd have a perfect triangle.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Right? And so our growth, we want 2 more clinics in Denver. So I would love one around Aurora, one out west, and then I've got Centennial. So I've got the trifecta there.
Nice.
We have no intentions to move north of the Denver metro because there's a very well-established direct primary care up north, and they have a really good market, and there's really no reason for us to be in there. And then we do want one more in the Springs. I think if 3 and 3 will pretty much have the market share that we need. Some people want us to move into Pueblo. I think that would be like a third phase, but I think if we can complete that, that would be where we need to be.
That's super interesting. You also mentioned the word alliances. So what does that mean for you guys on a business standpoint?
Yeah, so maybe I'll talk a little bit about what I think an alliance is and maybe how a local business could build it, right? So we hear this in networking a lot, called a power partner. And everyone in town is going to want to be a referral partner with you, but you will find a handful will actually be the producers you need for your business. So in marketing and business, you want to cast the widest net you can when you first start, but you will quickly realize that casting that net to everybody is not fruitful in your fishing effort, right? You know to go to these certain places that are going to produce. For us, what we have found is, first and foremost, find a business partner who complements what you're doing and you're not competing. I brought Brandon Leo Nunes up in this conversation before. We have another broker partner up north, Brian Perry, and they are power partners where we share the same values and we don't step on each other. It is very hard for me to get a bigger business if I don't have the health plan to complement what I'm doing. A lot of my broker partners are looking for a really cool, affordable solution to bring in that will help them sell their deal. So the first alliance I would look at is, who are your power partners going to be? And get comfortable just working with them and being okay with the business that you can bring each other. Then I would take your power partner and decide, what can you do financially together to help lift yourself up in the market? Because it is expensive to do marketing. You guys work in the marketing business,
Oh yeah.
and you need a certain amount of buying power to actually make a difference. So what we've done with some of our power partners is we've done joint marketing initiatives together. Brandon and Leo and I bid on a Trilix Chamber marketing package with KOAA TV, and we won it together. We shot the commercial together, and
Cool.
it's airing on KOAA right now, right? And we're sending all the leads to Brandon and Leo. Now, some of those leads may not want us, and that's completely okay. But I trust them to treat our leads just as I would treat leads that come to me and I refer to Brandon and Leo. So I think that's one part of the alliance. Try to find a good power partner in town, because now your sales team has just grown, right? And you don't have to pay them. It's referrals, right?
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I think the other thing is to think deeply about the networking you're doing in town, and think deeply about the sponsorships you're doing, the chambers you're getting involved with, and make sure you are squeezing the most out of those opportunities as you can. So one example would be we sponsor a lot of events in town because we need to get our brand ahead of healthcare companies that have millions to spend in town every month. And I have tens of thousands to spend in a year. So what we've done is we buy these tables where we have 10 guests, and we will engineer every single seat at that table. I will put a client that we have next to a client that we want, and two people that, even if they didn't choose Pinnacle, could end up working together someday. And I think you can build some great alliances by having the abundance mindset and by thinking deeply about your brand engagement and what you want to do. Other alliances in town would be maybe buddying up with partners sometimes that you see as your adversaries or you see as your competition. We have recently partnered with Common Spirit Health, and they are our preferred hospital network for our health plan that we designed with Harrison District 2. So a lot of our peers in the DPC space would be like, what are you doing? They're the big health systems. But we brought the leadership at Common Spirit to our clinic. We introduced them to all of our team. We talked about ways we can support the community together. And now we have a locally owned small business playing with a big hospital system in town, and we can work together. I would say the other thing too is understanding your politics in town. My philosophy is to be Switzerland, that you can grow your business better if you take your politics and keep it behind your door and save it for a glass of whiskey or wine or a beer and hash out politics there. But we have found, especially being in healthcare, that being neutral is the way to go, and to build alliances with politicians across town, take them out to dinner, invite them to your business, and find ways that they can help you grow. So take something that's normally people don't want to touch politics necessarily, and find a way to make it work for your business. So that's kind of the trifecta that we look at. We have a healthcare movement that we need to push change. So we have to be heavily involved in political alliances. I need to work with big partners in town because that's what we need to grow our business. And then finding the right power partners. And I think that trifecta has allowed us to grow exponentially.
That's huge. Yeah, especially when you're going after, beyond all that, you have like just one-off people who are coming in to just get subscription services or membership services from you guys. And then you're going after businesses, which is, I want to, 250 businesses is a lot of businesses. It's two different strategies though, right? Is it different?
So in the direct primary care space, most clinics are primarily retail based. We are a unicorn because 70% of our members come from businesses.
Awesome.
And the other 30% are retail. And everybody's kind of trying to figure out, how did we do that? We early on decided that we would take a business of any size, because I don't care if you have one employee or our largest client with 1,200 employees, that every business wants to do the right thing for their employee. And if we can find a way to help them build a competitive business package, benefits package, then that small business can attract and retain great employees just like any other business in town. So of those 250 businesses, I would say the average employee size for most of those is mom and pop businesses with like 5 to 25 employees. That is the main core of that. And all we needed, I remember our grand opening 4 years ago September or October. I should remember the month. But either September or October 4 years ago was our official grand opening. And we closed our first business who happened to share the same office condo as us.
Oh, wow.
Luna Float Spa. And we sold them that day. And that was business one. And all it took was, a few dozen businesses to start talking to everybody in town. And word of mouth is what has really helped that, along with our power partners, because Brandon and Leo are very connected with the small business community and it helped us build that too.
That's awesome. So special. And it's awesome because you're kind of like us in a lot of ways. Like we talk to numerous business owners and like I do marketing for a living. So I have a pretty good beat on what's going on in Colorado, different areas of Colorado, beyond Colorado Springs. Like I'm in Lone Tree, I'm in Centennial, I'm in Highlands Ranch. Like, so is Andrew, like he's been all over as well. And so we kind of have a beat of like how all these markets work and how they work differently.
Yep.
What's your gauge on that? Because it's super interesting to someone like you who's been involved with so many businesses. There's got to be like a good beat on like how all those areas operate, and they probably operate a little bit different.
Yeah. So just sort of a quick analysis of the I-25 corridor, because that's where I spend the bulk of my time. Like you guys just running up and down I-25. We have Boulder, which is an extremely progressive community. I affectionately call it our crunchy granola community here along the Front Range. And that's not to put anyone down, just it is their philosophy in life. You're going to find a very sort of progressive business environment up there. Once we hit sort of the Denver metro area, that to me is definitely a more cutthroat business environment. You're going to have a lot of massive corporations there. And if you've been in business even a few months or a few years, you put your eyes on those big clients, but they never convert, right? Like getting, a huge, massive company like Salesforce or something like that downtown Denver, is probably not where most small businesses are. And I think that their intentions at that level are to support businesses at a huge enterprise level. And I have found that I think small businesses kind of get left in the dust just a little bit. And I think if you look at the news coming out of Denver right now, my hometown where I live here in Colorado, not my hometown, that was Iowa, but my hometown here here in Colorado is Denver, that business community is struggling. I mean, rents are extremely high. I heard of a business owner paying $15,000 a month in rent near Union Station. And because crime was so bad down there, they actually had to put a Ring doorbell, lock the door, and meet people at the door to open it to let them into their business. As you can imagine, that did not go well, and the landlord was unwilling to work with them at all. I don't see that the case being something like this in Colorado Springs as we start to move south. When we get into South Denver, as I was telling you guys, that community I love, I embrace. We have a practice in Centennial. They remind me a lot of the Colorado Springs culture. So when I look at South Denver, Castle Rock, Monument, Colorado Springs, these are the type of businesses that you could still do a deal with a handshake and send them the contract later, right? But I mean that this is still that type of community that you better not burn a bridge over here because you've just burnt the bridge for the entire community that you're part of. And I think having that type of culture holds everyone accountable. Someone asked me, like, again, what was a factor in Pinnacle's growth? Well, our biggest competitor is no longer in the market. They sold off to Amazon. But when they were in the market, they made us better because we wanted to compete with them so hard that it forced us to be a better business. And I see that through South Denver and Colorado Springs, that we all force ourselves to be better. Whether we like it or not, you're still peeking at your competition in town every now and then to see what they're doing. And I think that's really key. I also think that the politics are different, where there is a more free market, stay out of my business, stay out of my house, stay out of my backyard mentality, right? The freedom mentality. And I think that a freedom mentality and free markets in business are key to growing. We don't need to overtax our businesses. We don't need to overregulate them. Just let them do what they need to do. And if the market doesn't have a place for them, then their business will close, unfortunately, right? But let's not put all these things in place. Let's open up a free market as much as we can. And I think that's what creates a healthier business climate.
We'd like to take a quick break and thank our sponsors.
Junkin' Hall.
Need to clear out clutter fast?
Junkin' Hall is Colorado Springs' go-to for same-day junk removal.
With the eco-friendly service and a 5-star team you can trust.
Visit junkinhall.com to schedule your free estimate today. That's JUNKNHAUL.com.
Bolton Co. Executive Coaching.
Up feels better than stuck. You know that. But in this market, how do you get unstuck and get ahead as an executive?
Our guy JB is an executive coach at Bolton Co. Coaching, where he believes you don't have to change who you are. You just need an injection of effectiveness and a proven competitive edge roadmap for your way up. Head to boltonco.net. That's boltonco.net.
Mm-hmm.
Be Our Guest Getaways. Be Our Guest Getaways specializes in Disney cruise resort and theme park vacations.
Planning a Disney vacation can be stressful. Let Be Our Guest Getaways provide you with concierge-level service for free.
Learn more at beourguestgetaways.com. That's beourguestgetaways.com.
Planet Duct. Planet Duct is the #1 choice for professional air duct cleaning in Colorado Springs and Southern Colorado. With state-of-the-art equipment and top-tier service, they make sure the air in your home or business is clean and allergen-free. Breathe easier with Planet Duct. Learn more at planetduct.com.
Awesome Home Services.
Awesome Home Services delivers top-notch HVAC solutions for your home. Whether you need heating, cooling, or system maintenance, they ensure your comfort year-round. Visit awesomeservice.com for your HVAC needs. That's awesomeservice.com.
Proud American Electrical and Solar.
Give Proud American Electrical and Solar a call today for all your electrical and solar needs. They are locally owned and operated business right here in Colorado Springs. If you're looking for information on solar, this is the company you will want to call. Check out their website at proudamericανsolar.com. Use promo code COSBusiness for a 5% discount today.
Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care.
Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care offers affordable, accessible healthcare with a focus on you. They provide exceptional primary care without the hassle of insurance barriers. Experience a patient-centered approach. Learn more at pinnacleapc.com.
And now let's get back to the show.
Did you see, just kind of side note, and I don't know if it was Colorado, but I think it was Colorado, that there were some rumbles about possibly throttling like AI use within small businesses in Colorado. I forgot what reason. I was like, what a crazy idea.
So let's just talk about good intended government ideas that end up blowing up. Let's just talk about my industry. So back during the Great Depression, and I talked a little bit about this on the last podcast, but I'll remind people that the government put wage caps on businesses during the Great Depression and coming out of it as a way to right size businesses and literally kind of level the playing field of competition, right? Well, businesses are like, I still want great employees. So they're like, if the government won't allow me to pay them, what can I do? Benefits. Oh, employee benefits. Let's provide them healthcare. So again, government did something, and now 40, 50, more than that later, decades later, we are now sitting on one of the worst run healthcare systems in the world. The worst, actually, when we talk about health outcomes and cost input into the healthcare system. So is AI going to devastate some businesses? Yes. Look at my days back into the media industry. Newspapers, right? They threw a fit when radio stations came on air and wanted to regulate the news that radio stations could put on air, right? Because it was going to devastate my newspaper business. Well, yes, it ended up devastating the newspaper business down the road. But then we got online media and news organizations and podcast and a much richer media environment out of it at the end of the day. They want to deregulate TV station ownership, which I do think is a massive problem because now you're going to have one company owning all the TV stations in town, which isn't that great. So there are some things that maybe we need to think about regulation, but I think with AI currently, telling a small business how they can and cannot use it is a complete government overreach. That is not the proper role of government to be doing that. And I've said this before, just because you can create something doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Do we have a moral obligation to humanity, to original thought, to things only uniquely humans can do? Humans need purpose. Jobs and careers and entrepreneurship give us purpose in our life. So I would say to tech companies out there, what is all this greatness without humans? So when I look at using ChatGPT and other AI models and things like that, I think about my writing skills. I worked decades to perfect my writing in my voice for my clients. That is uniquely the way that Travis writes things. And I have had to consciously tell myself, if you want to keep this talent of yours, then dude, you need to think carefully about how much you use AI, because the brain is lazy. And my brain will be like, dude, why put yourself through the pain of crafting this paragraph? We could just throw it into AI. So I think it's upon us, like people are mad at Amazon, then stop buying from Amazon. But we don't, right? I'm mad at the chain restaurant that just moved in. Well, then support the local business down the street. So I do think that it's up to us, not the government. I think it's up to humanity to decide how far are we going to let this go? And are we going to let it turn us into a bunch of vegetables? I know that just kind of went down a philosophical thing.
That was a really good take, though. I never really had, I don't know if you have any input on that, but that's an interesting take. I definitely agree with that. I thought of myself of a really same thing. Like I was really well at putting together emails with one another, with business and clients. And
Yes.
that was something I was really proud of. And I'm the same way as you. Actually, earlier this week, I was like, I want this to outline something for me to write my thoughts out, because I feel like my
Yes.
thoughts haven't been spilling out like they normally should. And so it was like 2 nights ago. I'm like, you know enough about me, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like, let's pull some things out of me to
Yes.
reflect on in life.
Yes.
And then I just wrote things down. I was like, holy cow, that's what for some reason I felt like I was being suppressed. And it was in the middle of the night. Like I shouldn't be I just felt like I needed to write and get those thoughts out.
Yeah, I think it's all in how you use it, Like
Yeah.
you can use it to substitute your thinking process, or you can use it to enhance it. And then that allows you to,
Right.
you're not just letting your brain rot from, or atrophy from not using that muscle. You're adding to that muscle and taking it to maybe the next level. Because I got good at writing emails. I never was great at writing emails, but I remember like when I first started my business, I had to learn.
Yeah.
Like I actually spent like $200 on a template of emails.
Yes.
Which learning that template,
Mhm.
studying that template specifically for media production, studying that template taught me what I needed to. And that's technically how an AI learns. It studies the templates of other
Yes.
things. It doesn't copy. It's not a collage machine. It's a learning machine. And a lot of people do confuse that. But I think you don't let it let you atrophy. It's all in how you use it. So I actually, when I'm using AI to write an email, I'm actually spending probably just about as much time as I would if I was writing it myself,
Sure.
because I'm rereading it and I'm like, I'm going to,
Yep.
and I want to read it 1,000 times to make sure it didn't add something in there that I
Yep.
didn't want it
Totally.
to. So it's like, I actually end up spending probably about the same amount of time on an email, even using AI.
Well, if
So,
I
yeah.
had these tools 10, 15 years ago when I started like video production, editing is like one of the mindless things you can do. And there's certain parts about the editing process that a machine should just do, right? To scrub through hours of video and all that stuff. And you could take the rest of that time and create the best 90-second edit you've ever done, right?
Mhm.
Because you let AI take, when I did video, that was the worst part, was the post-production for me. The thing though that I wonder sometimes, and again, this just comes down to use of time, brevity, all that stuff. But are we going to get to a point where you send an email and the AI responds to it, and it's like it's just AI talking back and forth?
Absolutely. I think so.
And it's like, to me, it's like, then what is the purpose, right?
Mhm.
Like if we're just using AI to scrape meaningless emails, then maybe it's a culture change in email sending.
Well, I think it's going to be a culture change, and the whole fabric of society is going to be turned on its head, like altogether. Like we're going to be focused on doing things that are more human running businesses that are like actually have human connection instead of sending a bunch of emails. Emails won't even be on the table probably.
I hope so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is what I'm hoping will happen with this, and I do think it will. I do.
I have hope for it for sure, but there's also the bad parts that could
But I
happen.
love, like, I don't know, I'm in a human business in healthcare, right?
Yeah.
And I see people, mental health is over
Mhm.
half of our cases in family practice are
Mhm.
related to behavioral health of some kind. Of my 250 business owners, behavioral health and mental health is a massive trend in entrepreneurs. And I'm not talking good mental health, right? Like struggling in mental health and things like that. And I just don't want all of our humanity stripped away.
Mhm.
I want to see mistakes. I want to see a spelling error every now and then. I want to see an email reply that says, I forgot the attachment. Like, I just wonder, like, do we just optimize ourselves to a point where our brain isn't having to work as hard as it has in the past? Like, what makes Americans unique amongst everybody else in the world? And this is just going to be me cocky pro-America for a second. We are the most unique entrepreneur-driven society that is out there. Like, our founding fathers got on boats and were like, screw England and all this stuff, the most powerful nation, monarchy in the world, and we're going to go hopefully arrive on some land that we can start a new life and a new dream for ourselves.
Mhm.
And I think that American ingenuity, as I said before, it goes back to what do we want to be as a country? You know, are we still going to be the folks outputting the best great ideas in the world? And I do think it takes the human mind to struggle a little bit, not just a little bit, actually, to struggle a lot of bit. And that is when we come out. The other thing I'm finding online is sameness everywhere, sameness in the cadence of storytelling, sameness in, I even know if you wrote stuff in ChatGPT and don't remove the blocks, or you don't remove the M dashes in the writing, I just know. Or you leave in conclusion in there. Nobody writes in conclusion
Exactly.
on
yeah.
anything. And I'm like, you just ripped that from AI. So I think that's my biggest beef with it is, and we see the AI generated caricatures everywhere that a caricature artist used to write, you know, satire and put them in newspapers. And now it's that same overglossed character that we see time and time again. So I think that's my also fear too, is a sameness in content. I remember back in the early days of video editing and stuff where you couldn't peer in on what your peers were doing. You would go to an awards banquet, you would maybe see a reel that someone else did, but I guess too, we were copying some of the same people doing great work, but I still think there was a lot of creative accidents that happened.
I
Yeah.
love it. Both episodes we've ever had with you, it's been awesome, but you could definitely tell there's a sense of nationalism with you. Where's that come from with you?
You know, growing up on a farm. I mean, I grew up in Northeast Iowa, a farming community with 900 people. And a lot of folks in my family were all entrepreneurs, and we were all heavily engaged in our community. Like, my dad and his brothers put on the annual rodeo and demo derby for like decades in town. I grew up in a very large family. My mom had 5 sisters and 2 brothers. My dad had 2 sisters and 4 brothers, so big Catholic families. But we would get all the cousins together and go to the care center and sing songs for the elderly people. Like, we were super, super engaged. I grew up in rodeo, and rodeo is a very patriotic experience if you've ever been to that. So that was my upbringing, was sort of white picket fence storybook United States, where you knew your neighbor. When someone died in town, you had hundreds of people lined up at the funeral. people bringing you food for weeks, right? So that was the type of Americana that I grew up in. I think what's hard is, one, as a gay man, and going through all of that stuff, you're kind of pulled in two very interesting directions, right? You're pulled into a very progressive side, because I'm very progressive when it comes to social issues, having lived them myself. But as a white gay man, I have a ton of privilege compared to my lesbian counterparts, or maybe someone who's black and brown and gay. They have a totally different experience than me. So I found myself pulled in like polarizing political arenas, because you have hard far right, you have hard far left. And then we entered this whole phase after COVID of like anti-nationalism, anti anything United States. And I think that for our country, again, to be who we uniquely are, we do need to be proud of what we've done in this country. We turn 250 years old next year. Colorado turns 150. So it's the 150, 250. It's a big initiative happening in the state next year. And I do think we should be proud. You can be proud and still be critical, right? I can still be a business conservative and still hold my pro-America, pro-values, but at the same time recognize that there are people who have not been able to live that dream like some of us. Do I think it takes a ton of government intervention for someone to live their dream? Is that necessary? No, not necessarily. But so I do see those fine things, but at heart, I love that if you want to pick yourself up from your bootstraps, you can. I came from a poor farming family where my dad tells me a story in 4th grade. He didn't have $50. He had to ask the neighbor for $50 to send us to 4-H, to send us to the county fair that year. Now he's a successful farming man. He just got a vacation home in Florida and is doing great, right? But I watch my dad struggle all those years as an American farmer, right? So that's, I would say, where those values from me pull from. And again, why I love Colorado Springs and this community so much, because it reminds me of growing up in Iowa quite a bit, even though it's a big town and we had to drive an hour to get to a Walmart. Well, okay, 35 minutes, but still, you get it. But yeah.
I think that's really important that you have both of those things that have pulled you earlier on in your life, because it makes you such a good leader for yourself today, because you're able to really coincide and understand both sides of the spectrum when you're talking to people on a business level, right? And because like you guys have said, you're very like non-political with your approach, which is great. And like you understand people from both sides of the aisle. What a great balance for especially this type of environment that we see ourselves in, and probably for the next few years, to be honest with you, in the US. And I'm of the same thinking of you. I'm very like proud to be an American. I was raised by a mother who like killed any type of victim mindset out of me when I felt bad for myself. She was very tough on me and held me accountable. Even when you're young and you don't want that. You don't want to be like, oh, it's not my fault. It's, I got in trouble at school, but it's the teacher's fault, the principal's fault. She's like, no, it's your fault. This is what you did. Like, you need to hold yourself accountable for it. And I love that. So that's a great little like tangent that we went on, but I think it's super important of like who you are. I mean, what a cool story, man, to grow up in a farm, going to rodeo. Like, I never would have suspected that, from you. And like, it's what a cool story for yourself.
And there's always something, no matter how hard our lives have been, there's something you can pull from your roots, right? That either I never want to go back there. Yeah. Right. Or, hey, this is a great quality of growing up that a value I want to take. And when you have to scoop shit and be on the farm and be at the literally beginnings of our food chain, it is the most humbling experience as a young person ever. You learn just how hard it is to literally put food on the table. You go through an Iowa winter of -30 degrees and you're still out there because, the animals don't stop for cold weather, right? So I learned just at a very, very, very young age of what true hard labor is. And we were privileged to where I had a sister who passed away in a car accident when I was in college. And as all of us know, insurance companies fight back and forth. And at the end of it, there was an endowment, a settlement that came out. And essentially what that did is it provided the opportunity for me, my sister, and my brother to have our bachelor's degrees paid for. But that came with a catch, if you will. And mom and dad told us, you will not embarrass us. You will finish college in 4 years. And if you drop out, you will work on the farm until you pay us back. Because they never got the privilege to go to college. They didn't want us to farm because they knew the hardship of doing that. They knew the American dream for their kids back then. I graduated in college in 2009, high school in 2005. So that puts me on that timeline. That 20 years ago, going to college was a huge deal. Mm-hmm. Now we flash forward, and for some reason, we've taken higher education and weaponized it all of a sudden. I'm not saying people need to go to a 4-year degree to be successful. I do think as a young human, if you're able to commit yourself to something, whether it's finishing a term in the military or finishing your two-year program or trade or whatever, that as a young 18-year-old, you can commit yourself to something is your first step into adulthood. And for my parents, for their kids, that was a 4-year college degree. And my mom told me constantly, she said, I don't care if you are a garbage man, you will be the one running the dump. And I was like, I get it. I get it. It's not about the category I work in. It's the fact that we want you to be a leader and we want you to succeed, and we think education is important. So out of that, my sister has a doctorate in nursing and is a family practitioner. My little brother, so proud of him, Nick, he is finishing up his immunobiology PhD at Iowa State University. Dang. And then you got me, the dumbest one, with a master's degree. But again, we worked our butt off in college because we had that work ethic on the farm, and we didn't want to be scooping shit full time again. So
that's your sister's in the medical, your brother's in medical, and you're in medical now too. So,
we're all in the helping field. Yeah.
Beautiful, man. How have those standards, it seems like from your upbringing, transferred into how you run your business today? With the would you say the original 5, the OG 5? OG 5. How has that, I guess, leaked into your business in today's world?
Two things. One, growing up in a cornfield, a sea of corn, literally. If any of your listeners, viewers have been to the Midwest or Iowa, it is just a sea of green and green. And farm boy in this white little house, growing up in fields of corn, you dream. You dream a lot, right? You dream of traveling. You dream of getting out of the small town. You just dream. So I think for the OG 5, I consider us all kind of the underdogs. All of us were, right? Many of us will say nobody believed in us, right? Or we didn't belong where we are. So I think all of us are cut from the same cloth. We all didn't farm, but we all came from humble upbringings that have made us the 3 qualities that we hire for at Pinnacle. And this is some leader I'm robbing it from, but we hire people who are hungry, humble, and smart. Those are the 3 things that we need. I can't teach you those 3 things, right? So all 5 of us have that into our DNA. We are extremely resilient. We've all had life experiences that we have not allowed to define us, and we have found a way to overcome them, or even if they're in our life, we found a way to live with that and not let us hold us back. I think those things have been really key to our success, and would be a message to any entrepreneur out there, is that before you even jump into the business, you need to ask yourself, can I do this for 5 years? We all hear the 5-year marker. I think that's true, because you really find your stride. Every year You're in your business. And now year 4 for us, we feel very confident in what doesn't work and what works. And so, but that took an extreme amount of discipline where we stuck to marketing strategies for enough time to make sure they worked. We stuck to the networking game religiously to build that network so we had that influence in town. So I think that's been the key to our team is our humble upbringings, our ability to succeed when people told us we can't. And all 5 of us were jaded by the system in some way. So we wanted to make it better. And I think that recipe has allowed us to get where we want to go.
Love it. I mean, to be honest with you, you guys have a heck of a giant to tackle. I mean, one of the biggest ones you can possibly tackle.
It's huge.
You guys are like a fellowship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, we essentially are. And what's fun is, we got like a little fan base going in the DPC community, and it's so fun to coach our peers to be better at what they're doing, because the more people we can get in this movement, the more Googleable we'll be, the more brand recognition we will have, and it will just make my job easier at the end of the day.
I'm going to see what happens when I do search. I know no one searches that, but I want to see if you guys pop up.
God.
Yeah.
Put you on the spot. All right, direct.
Yeah. Direct primary care, Colorado Springs.
I'm just going to type direct primary care first, and then I'll do that one. Oh, yeah, I choose my location, so yeah.
I bet we will be down the list because our name has advanced primary care in it.
Thrive Care is sponsored, so that one doesn't count.
Doing some PPC, yeah.
All right, so where we at?
What number are we?
Let's go. Just look at this. All right, we got this, that, them. Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 down. Yeah.
Can I see your phone real quick?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
What how many reviews did they have? Did you see?
Primary care,
How many reviews you guys got?
Alpengel, 43.
Okay.
Here's the deal, though. Everybody I see on this list is doing a damn good job.
That's awesome.
And I'm totally okay if they're ahead of me.
That's just on the search. You can optimize that and get that.
They were
fixed.
really smart and had direct primary care in their name. Advanced primary care is definitely a deeper strategy in terms of thinking what we're doing. But yeah, these are great names popping up
I love it.
on there. So I'm proud to see them there.
Sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, what does it mean for you to have other DPCs like in at least Colorado? Like, is it like one of those kind of strategies where like a rising tide raises all boats strategy? Like, why does it mean so much to you to kind of like coach up your colleagues or competition, if you will?
One, I would say we're all fiercely competitive, which is good.
Yeah.
Because I think we're all constantly peeking at each other, what we're doing, which makes us better. I always tell people there are enough unhappy patients to go around for all of us.
Yeah.
And there are enough
Absolutely.
small businesses looking for affordable healthcare for their team.
Mhm.
So, and we've all found our niche. Some direct primary care practices do some med spa stuff. We don't do that. That's not our lane, right? There are some DPCs that are very functional medicine based, and there are patients out there looking for purely functional health practices. There are practices that just want to have retail customers and want nothing to do with businesses because businesses come with their own stuff that you have to handle. Now I've got HR people. Now I've got business owners who are now my client, right? Not just the patient. So I think we've all found our niche. Ours happens to be the business lane.
Mhm.
That is what we're going after. But I want to see more in town, and I've seen more pop up. And if anything, I hope our marketing has made their job easier.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because more and more doctors that we can pull in to this model is good. And we saw during COVID that the established healthcare system nearly crumbled, right? So creating a parallel system to complement our big healthcare system, I think, is important. And if we do primary care right, if Pinnacle and all the other DPCs do our job right, we're spending an hour with our patients, we're keeping them happy and healthy. Guess what? Our ERs have more room for emergencies, right?
Mhm.
Our system isn't dealing with patients that are placed in the system unnecessarily because they shouldn't be there. If family medicine can do their job right in town, we can have a huge impact in our community. So I say bring it on. Let's have more DPCs in town. Let's get more north, maybe where I'm not. But no, I welcome anyone who wants to come into town. There's enough room for us in Colorado Springs.
Absolutely. And I love that mindset. I mean, like just one of your clients is like a third of your portfolio, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's like there's lots to go around.
There are plenty. And I think out of the big, beautiful bill, there is a provision in there that reclassifies direct primary care as HSA compatible now. Believe it or not, your HSA card legally could not pay for your DPC membership. Now it can. So anyone on a bronze, silver, or gold high deductible health plan can now put their DPC membership and receive those tax benefits.
Nice.
So we are seeing that the tax code and legislation are coming up to date, or more up to date with DPC, which we love. So that's going to open up DPC to 65 million Americans who have a HSA card. So that's going to help everybody in town who has a DPC now.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's really big. I wanted to highlight this too before we close up, because I think it's a really cool, just interesting Travis thing. But you love music.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We heard you. Would you play saxophone?
Yeah.
Talk to us about. I know we're kind of landing this plane soon, but I think it's just really cool to highlight that.
Yeah.
You have a huge passion for that, and you have several things you're involved in on a music level. Talk about that.
Yes. So I think as an entrepreneur, it is important to find something else that fills your cup, because you can make your business everything. Like I think about it when I'm in the bathroom, going to the bathroom, in the shower, before I go to bed, when I wake up. I want to volunteer. I want to get engaged. So at a networking event, I came across about 3 years ago the Arapahoe Philharmonic booth at a nonprofit fair. And they said, we're looking for board members. And I said, I would love to join. I was interested because in 4th grade, I started playing the saxophone. I can still play it today, not professionally. Devin would never let me in on his orchestra, but play the saxophone. And I actually, prior to joining the Arapahoe Philharmonic, which is now the Symphony of the Rockies, I was going through a mental health funk after COVID. And I'm like, I need something. So at my mom's, I accidentally found my sheet music. And I just closed my eyes and I'm like, oh my God, I still know the notes. I still know how to read music. So I got a student saxophone from Guitar Center.
That's awesome.
And it was the best thing to do for my mental health, because music in patients with dementia, they will play the piano or their instrument just like they did before they got their illness. So it's powerful. And I found that music is one of our great uniters, that it brings everybody together, especially classical symphonic music brings people from all walks of life. So got involved in the symphony. We rebranded it as the Symphony of the Rockies. We've improved our culture, our fundraising. We're selling out concerts. We raised $95,000 at our gala, the most success that the organization's had in 70 years. And it is a privilege to be the chairman of that board and to serve and to get music back into my life. I will start playing again in public. I'm going to join our senior outreach team, and I'm going to play my saxophone at care centers and for seniors and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Talk to Danielle.
My girlfriend, she's an activities director for Melody
Always
Living.
looking for people
Oh
to
my
do that.
gosh.
Yeah, and she's worked for all the major ones in town, so she's well connected in all senior communities in town, and so she always is looking for new talent to help out.
I would love, the elderly are very kind. So it would be a nice, safe place for me to start playing again, but I would love that. So,
And you said you did that as a kid too. You said you and your siblings would sing to the elderly or something like that?
yeah, so we went out and did outreach with that. I actually joined the local area on aging, and the governor of Iowa, Governor Vilsack, I got the Young Volunteers Award by the state of Iowa way many, like 30 some years ago or something like that.
Oh my gosh, man.
But yeah, but again, I played music. So I don't know that, I would say to entrepreneurs out there, like, you have to find joy outside of your business. And if you're somebody that just likes to work, then find a nonprofit you can volunteer your time and dig in and do work for, but have it something that complements something in your heart, something that brings back that spark, and for me, that was getting music back into my life. And my husband and I have a killer vinyl collection. ranging everything from Stevie Nicks to Eminem. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What about the Wu-Tang album?
Wu-Tang album, we don't have that.
Okay.
But I do have a collection of soul music that we
nice.
just added. So yeah.
That actually reminds me, and like when COVID happened, I actually got back into video games. I had not played video games, and I've wanted to actually do video game design when I was younger. And so like that was one thing I picked up, and that really helped me out a lot too. So I just loved. It's something I just have a passion for, And as an adult, I don't mind. I'm not ashamed of playing video games either.
Well, and I started, now that phones can shoot such great video and stuff, I'm now starting to create little 60-second, 90-second travel reels.
Oh, those are fun, yeah.
Of places that I go. And I'm like, I can shoot video for myself and still enjoy it. Maybe I don't want to do it for clients anymore.
Absolutely.
Well, other than Pinnacle, I do it for my bosses.
That's actually where I'm at with my production company too, in a lot of ways. And we were talking about that last time, I think. So I've actually pivoted to a different business, but we won't talk about that right now.
It's all about finding joy.
Oh yeah.
We got to find joy in what we do.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of life, right? You got to have your outlets. You got to, especially like on a creative outlet kind of thing, right? Like you have to be able to express your heart in different ways other than just your business. Cause I'm like that. I'm like you. I'm like, I love working. I could do it 7 days a week. I'd never get bored of it, but like, there's gotta be something different. There's gotta be something that expresses my creativity in different ways other than just business.
And there are nonprofits looking for business people to join them everywhere in town. And nonprofits need great leadership in our community. Nonprofits, just because it's nonprofit, that's a tax code. That doesn't mean you still need to bring a profit. You still need to pay people and run a great nonprofit. So business people out there, nonprofits need you. Volunteer time and help.
Travis, this has been awesome, man. Thank you again for coming back on. It's
been
been such a fun conversation. We've gone everywhere from DPCs to AI to Iowa farming to music.
Yes.
It's been a great episode, brother. Well, that's your camera right there. Where can we find you?
Hey, go to pinnacleapc.com. Google Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care. We might be a little down there, but you'll find us. But yeah, go to pinnacleapc.com. We'd love to help your family, your small business find affordable healthcare.
All right. Well, this has been the COS Business Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one.